the team had me over for the 6-5 conference. We ended up killing it, destroyed it.
Yeah.
Came back for the 6-1 conference. We had made it to the Final Four, but we didn't make it to the finals. But we took third place again. So then we had our little bit of our transition in 90 where we did some trades and did some things to kind of try to improve our roster. So we had a bit of a struggle in 90. But then in 91, it was on. You know, matter of fact, I'm sorry, we went to the finals in 90.
Right.
With Carlos Clark, and one of the most heartbreaking loss of my whole basketball career. We were up 2-0 against Pure Foods in the championship game. All we had to win was one more, and we lost 3 straight games. Yeah.
That's tough.
Tough. Lost to Alvin, Patrimonio, Jerry Cordillera. That team was loaded.
Big question. Does that still haunt you?
Today. Like I can still remember. That's like 30 years later, and I can still remember the sensation of losing that game.
Right.
I can remember it. I can feel it. But that drove me from then on. Right. So the next year in 91, we won the championship 3-0 against Ginebra. And that was huge against Wes Matthew. Yeah, because I remember losing in 90 3 games in a row in the final. And so when we were able to sweep Ginebra the following year, I thrived off that hurt and pain that I felt the year before. So that was our first championship with Alaska in 91.
Right.
And then we had a couple injuries the next few years, and then heading to 94 is when we just really took over the league.
Coach, let's not forget, Coach, man, and I want to say it here, man. I know you were averaging some big numbers, 37.7.
Yes, sir.
I mean, a game.
Yes, sir.
I mean,
yeah.
What? I know you talked about the drive, you know, in regards to the last championship. That's what kind of drove you to, you know, really focusing that next season. What were some other little things that really kept you on that drive to? I mean, average 37. That's like Kobe's numbers right there.
Yeah. No, I was putting up big numbers that first couple of years, and it was what I always felt made me a really good import for the Philippines was that I love my teammates. Those guys are my brothers.
Yeah.
And their kids were, I was their Ninong, you know, or
their
the
godfather.
Yeah, and their godfather. And so I had to feel like I was playing for those kids. I was playing for the families, and I was playing for my brothers. And so I would come back with such a drive every year, like I could not fail them, because it wasn't about me, although I was putting up big numbers, but I would always tell reporters back then, like, this is the PBA, man. This is all about my Filipino teammates.
Right.
I am here to be whatever they need me to be to help them win, to be successful. And that's where that Mr. 100% started coming around, because I really, you know, how we say sometimes when we watch kids now, now we flip our hats as scouters, and we're watching kids as a coach, and I'm watching kids that see what's a potential talent or a type of kid that can play at the next levels. We say that kids built different.
Right.
There's just something different about them. And I know that was me back then. You know, I was just different. It was like I didn't know when he quit. I had the Dennis Rodman mentality. I didn't know how to give into losing. Just didn't know how to do it, you know. And I wasn't the greatest shooter. I wasn't the greatest ball handler. But I used to approach every game with a mindset that whoever is on the other side of me, it's impossible for them to outwork me.
Right.
It was impossible. It was impossible because I knew what my drive was.
What was your go-to?
Man, the turnaround.
37 points?
Man, the turnaround backboard, the turnaround jumper off the backboard with the kiss off the glass.
Nice.
And then the right to left crossover when I need to get to the rim. And then mostly just knowing your opponent. So if, like, a lot of times the opposite team would try to put the bigger Filipino on me, you know, because I did play with my back to the basket. So I was take advantage of that. Like on a missed shot, I would beat them down the court. Just get out and run. So I used to figure I can get a quick 8-10 points just beating them down the court.
Right.
You know, and then being relentless on the offensive rebounds. Like, go for every one of them. You know, and that's a mindset that is hard to teach.
Right.
You know, it's easy to go back on defense, you know.
Yeah.
If you see a shot go up, you can like, all right, I'm getting back. But to go after a rebound every time. Even if you don't get it, so now you got to hustle even more to get back on defense, but then do it again. You know, a lot of people be like, it ain't worth it. I really get back. You know, it's too much work to get back on defense. For me, it was like every shot that went up was an opportunity to go get a ball at the glass.
Got it.
Literally. Every
Coach,
shot. I felt
during your 14 years, I know, you know, there's always has to be a mental preparation, physically, emotionally. What was that
absolutely.
ride like for you? Because I know one of the things that I noticed in Philippine basketball is that it's always tough to get a workout because it's so hot. What were you doing to prepare yourself day in, day out, especially during the off season for yourself?
Yeah. So my mindset again was every time I was back home in the States, I was preparing for the Philippines. A lot of the Americans that went over there or imports that went over there and played, it was a lot of times a paycheck and or they didn't come back with the same fight and the same desire when they came back over. Very few of us did, and those guys who did, they became legends over there.
Right.
The Bobby Parks, Norman Black, Lamont Struthers, you know, Derek Brown, those guys like that. You know, even today, Magic Brown, you know, Brownlee right now he never just built different. You know, we come back and I can't think of the kid from Durham from Morocco. You know, they come back with a purpose instead of just collecting a paycheck. So when I was back home in Sacramento, and you know, and I was making a good paycheck, so I was able to have time to really dedicate to my craft and my game to get better every year. So my desire was to get better, stay in shape, be in better shape. I started hitting the weights a little bit more because, you know, as you know, it's a physical game over there.
It is.
You can't be soft. You cannot be soft. You take a hit by Jaworski or Chito Loizaga or you cannot be soft. And then the big part about an American, if you do take that hit or a foul, smile about it. Move on. Don't get offended. And if you don't react, you give you more respect from everybody in the country.
Absolutely.
Everybody respects it. Respects you. Be like, okay, he's here for a business. He's not going to lose his cool.
Yeah.
He's not going to lose his demeanor. He's going to stay locked in. So they can never get me out of my game on a hard foul. And because of that, I didn't take many hard fouls because they respected my game that way, you know.
Right.
So, and then when I got over to the Philippines, man, I mean, I don't know if you've been to the old Ultra, you know. I would hit that track at the old Ultra like it was like the old Filipino guys in it, like they're 6 o'clock in the morning. I'll be right there with them, and they're like, "Is that Sean Chambers out here running on the track?"
Right.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I got a game to win 2 weeks, you know, tomorrow. You know, so I would do that, and then I took, you know, a bit what Dennis Rodman used to do. So I would go to practice. After practice, I used to hear that Dennis Rodman would hit the treadmill for an hour after practice. So during our big time career, during 94, 95, 96, and 97, through that run of winning all those 5 championships in a row, I would hit practice, drive back home to Makati, get it into like inside my condominium complex. There was a gym next door. I would go get home, then go next door to the gym, and I would hit the treadmill for an hour.
Wow. That's awesome.
Hit it for an hour.
What was your playing weight, Coach? What was your playing weight?
Man, I was a fit 215, 220.
Wow.
I never got tired, you know. Let me turn that off. Sorry about that. So I figured this, Chris. It was like, if I'm going to play the whole game for 48 minutes, if I can go over to the treadmill and run that treadmill for an hour, I'm good.
You're golden.
Right? Because I'm golden because there's going to be breaks in the game. So if I can hit this treadmill for an hour at a good pace and run, I'm good. So I'm going to outwork any import on the other team and do whoever the locals that was assigned to cover me. So I used to want to go to sleep every night that the local player that had to cover me and the import, that they can't sleep because they're thinking, oh my God, this kid, Sean's not going to stop. Sean's not going to stop. So they can't even think about their own game. They're so worried about my energy and keeping up with it.
I think, Coach, you said it dead on. I mean, if you have a great motor in your body, and you can hit that treadmill. I can recall, I remember when I went back, and I went back here to the U.S. before I went back to the Philippines. I can recall a player by the name of Ryan Reyes. He's with Talking Text right now.
Yes, sir.
I went to LA Fitness, and he was literally running beside me, and he was literally just going and going and going. And like you said, 1 hour, if you can
Yes,
last on
sir.
the treadmill for 1 hour, for a long time, I mean, and go back and play, you're in great shape, man. You're ready to
Right,
go.
right. Yeah, and you may not have to do that, but you have to do extra to be
Extra, yeah.
successful. You know, and with that, I don't know if, you know, if the running did help me because I never came off the court, but I knew that I believe this: God's going to bless those who help themselves.
Right. That's true.
So if you're going to put a step forward and you're going to help yourself to be successful, you're going to be rewarded for it. There's no way you're not going to be rewarded by putting in the effort. And if you want, you know, we all go, we all pray for God's guidance, and we pray for God's success and God's covering over us. But when you go and do things to help that process, you will be successful.
Absolutely. Now, Coach, after 14 years of playing, what was next for you? What came next after
So
14 years? Coaching? Did you go back to the States?
yes, man. So you know, one of the toughest moments was actually me retiring in 2001. When I retired from the Philippines, that was really emotional day for me. And I'm gonna post that video because I found I'm gonna post it one day on Instagram. People keep asking me about it.
Yeah.
But the beauty of my retirement was when I retired, man, it was bonkers because, like I said, when I first started, Frankie Lamb was one of my closest friends. Became, you know, a coach over there, and all these other guys that I started with from '89 and then all the way to 2001. There was about maybe 30 of my teammates was in the arena during my course of my playing career that came to that retirement. That they did. It was like a halftime of the game.
Yeah.
You know, they took a halftime of the game and retired my jersey. Alaska, I'm the only American with his number retired in the PBA. But when I watched that video and I seen Don Audialdo and Frankie Lim and Jojo Lastimoso and all these my closest friends that I play with and build great relationships with them, to be there at that moment just showed the love that they have for me during the course of my career and how much they appreciated the way that I played the game for them,
Right.
you know, more, and that I was a teammate, you know, and we have the saying for Alaska, you know, we not me, and I really believe we live by that. You know, we really live the we not me. So when I retired, you know, I came back home to Sacramento, and there was a moment about a year, like, what do I really want to do? You know, what do I really want to do? And I'll even back up. Actually, I'm sorry. Before I retired, I was helping out with a girls basketball program. I got a friend of mine named Scotty Galbraith, and Scotty was he was a former football player for the Dallas Cowboys. And like I said, our Highlands community were so close. And so Scotty was coaching the girls basketball team, and he asked me to come over to help him with a couple plays, a couple of this, a couple of that. So I reluctantly said no for a week or two. No, not doing it, Scotty. Not doing it, not doing it. So then eventually he gets me out to a practice. I get out to a practice and I watch the girls play, and I was absolutely taking back the skill level that some of the girls have in the game.
Right.
And that they can do the same thing that boys can do. It's just not as fast and as athletic, but their attention to details may be a little bit higher because they have to rely on your execution plan and the things that you put in place in order for them to have success. Because they're not going to jump over people like we do.
Right.
They're not going to just fly by people like we do. And their athleticism is not the same. So I was kind of intrigued by this. I was watching. I was like, this could be impressive if we can just tweak a couple things. So I helped Scotty for a week, and 20 years later, I'm still coaching girls basketball here in Sacramento.
That's awesome. And what's that program that you have right now called, Coach?
So I have a club program called Just Believe Sports. And so just know Just Believe Sports started as a manufacturing company that I started with my old driver in the Philippines. So we called it Just Believe Sports as a manufacturing company. And so then for my club, for everything I do now, everything it says just believe in everything I do in this world. And everything has the word believe involved in it because like I said, unless you believe, you cannot achieve. You cannot achieve without faith.
I agree.
So, um, so now my club program is called JBS for Just Believe Sports. So we shortened it off with the letters. We're one of the 3 SSB programs for Adidas. We've been sponsored by Adidas for about I think it's about 10 years now, one of the top 30 programs in the country.
Wow.
This year, we have a young lady who just committed to Stanford. She'll be signing her national letter of intent in 2 weeks. We have a kid that's going to be going to University of San Diego. We have another kid that's going to the University of California, San Diego. Kid going to Weber State. I'm trying to think, we're missing one more. I got a kid going to Fullerton. But every year, we're probably placed in about 8 to 9 kids on D1 scholarships out of JBS basketball.
That's awesome, Coach. And how long have you been running JBS now?
So JBS, I've been doing this now. I'm gonna say, wow, my first really official JBS team started in 2007.
2007.
So, but we were doing just local teams before that, before the national travel program.
Right.
We were doing that a few years before that. So about 15 years though, we've been going strong with JBS right now.
Got it.
Yes.
And you do also camps and clinics, right, Coach?
Yes, sir. So we do camps, we do clinics, we do showcases. So we run college showcases where we usually they're certified at this point in time where you get to have college coaches come to the event because of COVID-19, that we're doing them all live stream. We have one coming up in 2 weeks here in Sacramento. And so basically we just try to build a platform for the young ladies to be seen by the universities and give them a chance to possibly earn a scholarship.
Right on. Well, hopefully we can.
And so that's where I'm going this with you because there's so many Filipinos, man, that come through my program.
Right.
And then I'm getting a lot of the brothers that want an opportunity to get back to the Philippines. And this is my desire to connect with you because, as you know, the Bay Area, San Francisco, Daly City, Sacramento, Stockton, we have such a huge Pinoy community.
Absolutely.
And I think there's an opportunity where we can also provide information and services and something to help these guys in this California pocket to dream about going back over to the Philippines and going back over and making a career, going to a university or college there.
Right.
And just let them know that, that going back home will be an absolutely great honor for some of them.
Absolutely. No, I agree with you, Coach. And I think that's something that we can definitely do. I mean, once we're done with this conversation, I think that'll be the next conversation that you and I will be having. But for the most part, what I've come to a conclusion with is that you made a big impact in the Philippines as a player. You made a big impact as a coach in your community. I mean, what's the next big project? What's the next big thing for you now? Coaching at a high level or?
There's no secret that my next plan is actually for me to head back to Manila, and I put in my hat to a position for UST. They decided to go a different direction, but with me making that announcement about UST, I received about 2 other calls from other potential really interesting positions for me over there. Right now, I'm keeping it on the down low,
Absolutely.
as we say, until I finalize the deal. But there are a couple of deals on the tables right now for me to return back to the Philippines. And I really do see myself going back in by the end of the next year.
That's awesome, Coach. Now, I know you've been watching Alaska. What's your thoughts on
yes, sir.
the Alaska team right now?
Man, like I said, I've been up in the morning. I got to get up tomorrow morning. Can we play? We got a big game tomorrow. So we play. I think we play. It's not Phoenix. We play a die-up, I believe. Yes. So honestly, man, I like. I'm looking at some of the trades we made. As you know, I still serve as a consultant for Alaska. So I get a little input of what we're doing, and so there's some nice trades that seem to be fitting in pretty well with us. And then this kid Barkley is pretty impressive. And then Abu Trotter, I think, has got a potential to be a really great player if he continues to develop his skill level.
Right.
But we're 3-3 right now, if I'm not mistaken. I think we're 3-3. We had a chance to go 4-3 tomorrow. We got to win the games that we're supposed to win. So
Right.
tomorrow's the game that we need. This coming up this morning is a game that we need to win, and then continue to try to split against the better team. So which we've had. We beat Magnolia. That was a big win for us, and Magnolia just beat Ginebra, as you saw. We lost to TNT, and
San Miguel,
I'm sorry,
right?
we beat Rain. We beat Rain and Shine. We lost to Magnolia. Yeah. So we're in good shape. We just got to finish in the middle of the pack, and so um, I think it's Guerra.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah,
new. I mean, he was
Mike
yeah,
Longoria.
yeah. So I really like him. We traded for him while I was gone, so I haven't got a chance to meet him personally. But when Jeff Cadialto and them told me we were going to trade for him, I got to watch the video on him. I'm like, yeah, he's pretty impressive.
Absolutely.
But we gave up one of my guys, Simon from the Bay Area.
Yes.
So we gave up Cy for him, but Cy's doing a good job with TNT, so it
TNT.
turned out to be a good trade for him. And so um, everything is Jeff is doing a really good job. I think
Absolutely.
we got a chance to really make a run at this championship. We need to take advantage of it without Jumar playing right now. This is a great opportunity for everybody because
Yeah.
he's so dominating, and it's hard to match it with Jumar when he's there.
Absolutely. Because I know with San Miguel, they've already gone 3-peat, so everybody's
Yeah,
trying to kill that next 4-peat that they could possibly get.
and I believe Mikey's injured too right now.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So we got a chance. So we gotta stay consistent though.
Coach, to kind of wrap this up, share us your whole experience other than basketball, being in the Philippines. What was that experience like for you? You're living, being able to travel around the country and on
Oh
the
man.
islands, eating
Oh
the
man.
Filipino food. What was that experience
Oh
like for
man.
you?
Oh man. Like it's I can't put it into words. Like um, how much love I have for the country. I mean, really can't. It, it's it's mind blowing that this was the path that God put me on.
Right.
Um, it really is. I mean, I've been from the top of the country to the bottom of the country to Zamboanga and everywhere in between, Iloilo. I've been Batangas, and because of basketball,
Yeah.
we were able to travel these countries and meet some of the most amazing people in the world and the most hardworking people. Um, and I was lucky because a lot of times, guys, when we play the game and when we're playing the sport, we're kind of just living in the moment.
Right.
We don't get a chance to embrace the moment,
Absolutely.
right?
Yep. That's true.
So, right, we're just in it. We play, and then all of a sudden it's over with. You're like, oh wow, what happened? My career's over. You forget what it felt like, looked like. I was lucky. So what happened to me, Chris? Like in '93, a lot of people know that I had an injury in '93.
Mm.
So in '93, I had an injury where I only got to play, I think maybe 5 games that season,
Right.
and I couldn't play the rest. So it really made me take a step back and really embrace everything I was doing over there in the Philippines. So I was literally there for 2 months where I couldn't play, where I was just in the country living. And I actually stayed more about like 3 or 4 months. I ended up just staying there. Um, and so it really got me a chance to embrace every part of the Philippines. And I mean, from the good, the bad, the ugly.
Right.
Because just like anywhere else, there is some ugly.
Absolutely.
And then I was able to kind of go into a place, like in a spiritual place, where I was understood like that God has really placed me here for a reason.
Right.
So I must always respect and uphold the Filipino culture and always respect the people that live in this country and never, ever take for granted why I'm here. So moving forward, '94 all the way through those championship runs, I was able to just really just take it all in, like from going to like Gary Valenciano and Jojo Lastimosa taking me to Baguio, just to go like hang and go visit the people there, and then do some. I had my kind of like my adopted father was a white guy by the name of Pastor Charlie. He was the pastor of Union Church in Manila. It was around the corner from my from my condo. So he and his family really did a good job with me. Was like we did a lot of outreach at prisons and working at Tondo at Smoky Mountain. I would go there like once a year and do some outreach stuff out there and just meet and be with the regular folks and the regular people. Of course, because I was Sean Chambers over there, that I was always going to be around the socialites, but it was always good to be just around, the regular people, you know.
Right.
So believe it or not, I was very well known and popular because of our success. You know,
Absolutely.
and reason I was so popular and famous over there is because we were always beating Ginebra. You know, so out of my 3 or 4 teams, we beat the most famous teams. So
Yeah.
two of my championships were against Ginebra. The other most famous team over there was San Miguel. We beat San Miguel in a 7-game championship. The other two teams, Pure Foods, we beat them in you know, so we beat the most famous teams at the right time. So it's why I became so popular. Well, I was super well known during that time, but it's unexplainable the level of respect I have now when I go back.
Right.
It's like it went tenfold. Like I don't know because I'm not playing anymore, so they don't have to dislike me, or they just truly appreciate when they take a look back and who I was then and who I am now, and realize that I've always been pretty genuine with my love for the country and the love for the hardworking Filipinos and everything about them. You know, I was thinking about this with you. You know, I was thinking like if Cris asked me how to explain the Philippines, I would think it's so many different pieces because they're so vibrant, they're so full of color, they're so full of life, they're so full of excitement and a little bit of a bravo.
Yes.
But also with that bravo and that like that toughness comes such a humility and humbleness.
Yes.
So it's such a crazy dynamic, you know.
It is.
It's such a crazy dynamic. Like I'm proud, I'm a proud Filipino, and I'm a strong, and I'm everything, and I love being loud about who I am, but then yet I will remain humble in who I am as well.
Absolutely. What was your
Which
favorite
is
Filipino food you had
man,
there?
I still eat it today. I'm eating like this morning. I had tocino, my longanisa with rice. Like I'm here in my office at my school where I'm the dean of students now.
Yes.
I've been here at this middle school for 12 years as the dean of students, and I come in here with my coworkers that's in the office, my white workers, and some of the people that don't understand Filipino. I come in with rice, tocino, and longanisa. They're like, what is going on here? You're eating sausage with rice? I'm like, absolutely, man. It's the only way to do it. And then don't forget my little vinegar that goes with it. You know what I mean? So, uh, but I still do a lot. I just had lumpia the other day, and I had uh, I still love the Filipino barbecues on the sticks.
Yes.
There's a store down the street from us that does that, as well as adobo. You can't go wrong with
Can't go
adobo.
wrong. Yep. You just
Can't go wrong with adobo. I
absolutely.
have a funny story. So my daughter's 17 now, and now she's starting to go on little dates. And the young man that took her on a date the other day for their so-called homecoming dance was a young man who's Filipino.
Oh, nice.
Oh man, he was nervous as all heck. He called to the house. I go, oh no, pare, oh no, pangano mo. I go, ano ginagawa mo? He's nervous as all get up. And he's like, hello, sir. I'm nice to meet you, sir. I
Yeah.
go, okay, buddy. I go, no,
Better
thinking
be
mo, buddy.
careful.
Thinking mo. Yeah.
Now, Coach, did you
So,
end up marrying a Filipino?
no, my wife is Greek.
Greek.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
But she's been to the Philippines like 4 times.
Okay.
Yeah, when I
Nice.
was doing my playing days. Yeah. So she really enjoyed it over there. Yeah.
I
Like
could only
my
imagine 14 years, you know, could have maybe been with a Filipino woman.
right, all right. I don't know what happened there. Sayang talaga, pare. Sayang.
Okay, lang.
Okay, love. Yeah.
Now, Coach, man, I
But
thank you for your time today. It's a great story of what you shared today. I think, whether there's players out there that are Filipino American, or even Americans like yourself that
right.
honestly want to look into going to the Philippines, I think you're the man that could share the story and the man that could share the vision and what life could be like playing back home in the Philippines.
That's right. No, you're right. I mean, I got to see all parts of it, from a player. Like I said, when I retired, man, it was like I told them when I first came over to the Philippines, I was a visitor. Then I became a player, and then I became one of their own. I
Yes.
became like really one of the Filipino, huge part of the Filipino community and culture there. And then now, as a coach, as a consultant, to continue to do what I do is it's only Godspeed, Godsend. You
Yeah,
know.
I mean, 14 plus years. I mean, that's a lot of years.
Yes, sir.
A
Yes,
lot
sir.
of
And
years.
most people don't do it. And most of the time, you know, a lot of the Americans just can't stay disciplined enough.
Yeah,
They can't stay disciplined enough. Just go play basketball, do what you're supposed to do, and don't get involved with the other, like I said, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Don't get
absolutely.
involved in the ugly. And if you don't, they're going to keep bringing you back.
Yeah,
And once I learned this, I learned that success comes with longevity.
absolutely.
So if I can go back and play for Alaska for 10 straight years and make the salary that I was making, that longevity is going to bring me huge success.
Absolutely. I agree. I totally agree.
Just
Coach,
do the
man,
right thing, brother. Just do the right thing. And I mean, I'm loving everybody you had on, man. You've been having some great people on here. You
appreciate
know,
it.
Coach Brian and my man, Coach Camacho, my
Yeah,
man. Good Lord. Hopefully,
absolutely.
Coach Camacho and I can do some things in the Philippines real soon.
We also had Eugene Tejada, who obviously had
Yeah, Eugene. Yeah, I was there. Yes, sir.
a great, just the whole experience he had. And then, unfortunately, with his injury, he was able to share a story just the other day about his injury that he had. So I think to me that was definitely inspirational.
Cool. I'm looking at all your people putting Speedy Miko and all the. I mean, thank you to all those guys. I've seen those things at the bottom. Thank you guys for joining,
Yes.
and thank you for your love and support. Manami Salamat Po, and yeah, Justin Brown is definitely the next generation of the great Americans that come over there.
Coach, if you
Yeah,
have his contact,
shout
man,
out.
definitely would love to have him jump on and connect with him and kind of share his story, because I know he's another American that went out to the Philippines, played with Hinebra, and I know he got more
Yes,
years to come, right?
he's got more years to come. Justin could be playing for the next 5 years, I
Yeah,
think, over there for sure.
absolutely.
You know, how this pandemic kind of took away this year for
Right.
them. You know, so but Justin's a great kid, man. A really good guy. I really like Justin a lot.
Yeah, if you can connect me with him, that'd be a great opportunity for me to definitely get him on our platform. But Coach, man,
Let
I
me say hi
appreciate
to let me say hi to one of my players right there
absolutely.
down there. She said hi, Small Fry.
Yeah.
She's one of my Pinoy players for my JBS team.
Any
So I
shout
want to say
outs
hi to
aside
her.
from Mr. Small Fries? Any shout outs
Yeah,
out there for you?
Miss Frost right down there. Yeah, just all my fans out there, my loyal fans and people that have supported me throughout my whole career. It's definitely been a journey that I could have never dreamed of, and it's only been a blessing. All I have about like 6 or 7 Filipinos on my club team right now,
Hey,
so
let's get
that's
them
pretty
on the
awesome.
platform,
I'm
Coach. Let's get them that
bring them on,
exposure.
you know. And I'm also looking, Chris, to do right now on the girls' side, but maybe we can talk about the boys' side. Is doing a tour to the Philippines
Yes.
with Philams.
Yes, let's do that. That's definitely in my plans. I know with this whole COVID, it stopped everything, but definitely a true, one of the biggest things that I want to be able to share to our community in the United States, to all the Philams, is to be able to, as you know, Coach, you got these Filipino Americans they gotta have an idea of what they're dealing with.
Man, and because hey, tell them to go watch a PBA game.
Yeah,
The talent level is legit.
it is.
Like
It
I'm
is.
watching these games every morning. I'm like, it ain't no cakewalk over there. Just because you're a
Yeah,
Philam doesn't mean you can go over there and dominate. Like
it's true.
the Filipino players are legit. I'm watching
Legit.
this game and I'm watching, yeah, legit. Bottom line, I watched Phoenix this morning. I'm like, who the heck is this Chua kid shooting threes with the
Yeah,
left hand? I'm like, these guys are ballers, and they grew up their whole lives there, so they got a little bit of extra edge to them. Not to lose those positions, but if you can make it over there and bring your game and bring your A game, it is definitely a great life to live. And shout
absolutely.
out to you, Chris, man. Like Camacho was saying, man, what you're doing with this platform is to be commended. Like, keep doing what you're doing. This is definitely got. Did I lose you there? Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here. Yeah.
All
There we
right.
go.
But yeah, like I said, what you're doing, man, is awesome. So keep rolling with it, man.
I
Really.
appreciate it, Coach, and people like yourself that's supporting it. I really do. Thank you, and for the circle that you have. I mean, I definitely want to sit down and really put some ideas together and really explore, and especially in the city of Sacramento, and get more talent
Yeah.
out there, because I know there's a lot of talent
Yeah.
there. So
It really is. It really is. And I'm reading this one word. This guy said, say something about Calvin Abreu, being off for 16 months. One thing I'll say with Calvin, I don't think he's really been off for 16 months. He's been playing.
He's been
He's been
playing.
practicing. So he's been playing. So Calvin is built different.
Absolutely.
If he keeps his head straight, he's just different. He's different than everybody else. I was one of the team that drafted Calvin to Alaska.
Nice.
So I was there for the draft when Calvin got drafted.
Right.
So we wish him nothing but the best. We
Absolutely.
hope nothing that Kevin keeps going.
He's definitely a hard worker. You could tell
Yes, sir.
just in his eyes, man. And just last night, he definitely threw that 21 points.
Yes, he
for
did.
his game back. So that was good for him.
Yeah. So we're pulling for the beast, just not when he plays against Alaska.
Coach, man, we got to have you again on this.
Yes, sir.
We definitely
Yes,
got to have. I want to talk more about your whole just your whole outlook of the game, and more into detail, especially some key players on every roster. That's kind of like the next conversation I want to have with you.
Let's do it.
Since you're watching the PBA games, that's something that I like to definitely showcase on our platform. So
yeah, let's do that. And I'll tell you what kids' games I like out there, man. There's some games out there.
Absolutely.
It's pretty impressive. Yeah.
Coach,
absolutely.
Thank you so much for your time. We'll definitely connect again, and after this talk, we'll definitely connect offline.
All right, Chris. Hey, man. Again, much love, brother.
Thanks for joining me.
All right. Salam.
Guys, that was Coach Sean Chambers. He's now a coach with JBS, his program that he's running up in Sacramento. So for anyone up in Sacramento, make sure you reach out to him and join his club. Definitely a great experience in the Philippines. As you can see, 14 years with the Alaska Aces. Good luck to all the PBA teams that are playing, and mabuhay and much love.